right? So Bitcoin miners can go do waste power because, that's what they need. They can't, and they're willing to turn off. Whereas the AI centers need base load, need consistency, needs redundancy.
When you arrived this morning, we had a conversation. I said to you, Rob, so how was the drive over in the Tesla? And he says, what did you say to me? It drove me here nicely. I'm like, oh boy, that's a shocking thing. They didn't even think of that 10 years ago. We didn't even barely had iPhones 10 years ago. So to me, it's this electrification of the whole global grid massively happening in China. 50% of all sales now are the plug-in hybrids. Mine plug-in hybrids, 11 years old. My Chevy Volt. It's a wonderful vehicle. So to me, that's the key thing that's happening. Everything I hear and see is bad for petroleum prices.
There is a reason why nuclear reactors and power plants in general are big, because you have a fixed cost. Whether I'm building 5 megawatts or 5 gigawatts, my fixed cost for my lawyers, my lobbyists, the activation of teams to get this thing supported, the modeling efforts, it's the same. Whether it's 5 megawatts, 5 gigawatts. That's why you build big.
In countries and in markets that have embraced the energy transition, so you've got more solar, you've got more wind, you got more things like that, he points out that they often have higher electricity prices. So I'm curious, is the explanation for why California's electricity or why the UK's electricity is so expensive, would you place the blame on renewables? And do you believe the basic LCOE calculus?
I'll go back to capital allocation. Poor capital allocation leads to poor results. So Germany, California, they were basically forcing a non-market natural result. So they were forcing maybe like a 12 to 15-year break even onto people. And people's WACs don't want to do that. And weighted average capital costs. And so people, and then you had the mismanagement of the utility too, right? So the utility was also incentivized and said, you should allocate. We go back to our utility discussion. What is the goal of the utility? It's not to pick the most expensive. It's not to pick the least expensive. It's to create a portfolio of robustness, least regret option. That was like a theme that we had at AP. And